We are rolling, baby. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to my life. My name is Dave. I am an alcoholic. And due to the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, I am a grateful, recovered alcoholic. And I like to state that. And I like everybody to know that I am a gratefully recovered alcoholic. I want every person to know that that's what the program of AA has given me. I know there's a lot of commentary on AA, a lot of opinions, a lot of objectives, and it's all good. We all have our own experience, and we should always be able to share that experience. I believe that's, we live in a world where we can share our thoughts, our beliefs, our feelings. So for me, the program of AA was what saved me. It put me back on the map, I guess, of life. Simply because of the fact that, I needed something outside of myself. I had tried controlled drinking. I had tried quitting drinking. I had tried cold turkey. I had tried to drink, 1 beer a day, 2 beers a day. None of that stuff brought me fulfillment. Like, I didn't feel fulfilled with any of it. It was just like, I knew I needed to quit drinking. I wanted to quit drinking. That's probably the most important premise within my story and my experience. It's like, I really wanted to quit drinking. Like, I wanted it. Because it's my personal belief in life based on experience and everything that I've seen, that if a person wants to do something badly enough, they're going to find a way to do it. Like, if you want to quit drinking and you want to be free from drugs and alcohol, you will find a way to be free from it. There's people who have done it without the aid of the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. I get that. I myself quit for 2 years without the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. But what happened was I came back into a life of drinking basically by neglect. And what I mean by that is, I quit, but I didn't realize how to have a psychic change. And I've heard people talk a lot about this. Like, I still had the same alcoholic brain and the same misery and the same, all the things of life. They all drove me crazy. I hadn't had a psychic change. I hadn't learned how to grow along spiritual lines. That's what was huge for me. That's what the program taught me. That's the part that it brought into my life, was that I learned how to grow along spiritual lines. I learned how to live a spiritual life, to have a closer connection to God, and to believe in a power greater than myself. That's what was so important for me to learn how to do, and that's what I wasn't doing. I wasn't living it. It's like Morpheus says in The Matrix, there's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path. And I knew about spirituality, and I believed in God. I didn't have any problem with that. There was no hurdles there for me to get over. But my concept of reality was not aligned with my thinking. Right? So let me drill down into that a little bit deeper. What happened to me was, I believed in God, but yet I was doing evil shit, living low character values, but pretending, or justifying, maybe is a better word, justifying that I was doing the right thing. That what I was doing was what I had to do because of me, because of ego, because of self. I wasn't looking at another person or other people in my lives or people that were affected by my decisions and saying, okay, I'm gonna put the decision to do the right thing over doing what I want and what makes me feel good. See, living the wrong way, which is the way I was living back then when I was drinking and using drugs, was I was putting how I felt first. Like, I need relief. I need to feel good. I need to, get the stress off of me. And the way I did that was by drinking and using drugs. And because I had stress, it was okay for me to do that. That was my belief. But it's like everybody has stress in life. Everybody's suffering from, the things that go on within our lives. But see, these other people were not using drugs. They weren't making up the excuses that I was using for my drinking. They weren't doing that. So I started to realize that, and I started to take a closer look in the mirror. And what I found is, in my story, it boiled down to responsibility, taking responsibility for my life, realizing that everything that I had or didn't have in my life was a choice. It was a choice that I had made. Somewhere along the lines, there was a decision for me to choose a certain thing, and that thing would have a consequence. So, like, for instance, very simple. If I choose to drink as much as I possibly can until I pass out, black out, whatever, the consequences are a horrific hangover that I feel the next day is so bad that I can't endure it, that I almost want to kill myself. And I have to realize that every time I engage in that activity, that's what's going to happen. It's never going to be any different. The hangover might be a little bit lighter, but it's still going to be a hangover, and it's still going to hurt. So for me, I just started learning more and more stuff like that, where I have to take responsibility for my own actions, And this is even, before the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, I had to make a decision that I wanted to quit drinking. The program, like, if I didn't want to quit drinking, no program was going to help me quit drinking. Like, it was just out of the question. I knew that. I remember what that was like in life, to think that I didn't want to quit drinking. And I wouldn't accept any type of a program into my life. So I can totally understand when I hear people talk about how the program of AA doesn't work. And for me, in my experience, it boiled down to the fact that I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't ready to receive it because I didn't want to quit drinking. If you're still having fun going out and drinking, and you just haven't experienced enough pain, or you don't want the change in your life, then the truth is that it's probably not going to be enough to change you. And a lot of people look at that and view that as the program doesn't work. It's not that the program doesn't work. It's just that the change is not going to be something that you want. And that's a huge distinction to make, is the fact that, you got to want it. You got to want the change to get the change. You've got to want this thing, because engaging in a program, changing your life, quitting drinking, quitting doing drugs is a huge change. It's a huge endeavor. It's almost like becoming an Olympic athlete. Like, the odds are stacked against you, just because of the fact of what society is in this day and age, and the things that you're going to have to, like, all of the stressors of life, they're going to keep existing. The stressors of life don't care that you need to quit drinking and you need to change your life. The stressors just keep on coming. They just keep rolling in. And, you're having a bad day, and you're having a hard time struggling with going without a drink. And the stressors are just like, we don't give a fuck. They just keep rolling in on you. It seems like, even in the beginning, it seemed like more things started happening that first couple months, I started to feel better, but then all of a sudden it was like just bad shit started happening that I could see where somebody would want to change their mind and be like, hey, this thing isn't working. Like, life is getting worse for me. I look at it this way. The program of Alcoholics Anonymous and quitting drinking in general is a hard enough endeavor on its own. But if you put on top of it the fact that you just really are not ready to change your life, to make that kind of a life change, you are now taking on, an uphill battle that's so steep that it's hard to imagine ever changing that. So I get that completely. And that's why it says and how it works right in the beginning of the program, when we read it at the beginning of every meeting that we go to. It's like, if you want what we've got and you're willing to go to any length to get it, then you're ready to take certain steps. But they even talk about in the big book how they sat down with other alcoholics and they asked people, do you want this? Do you want to talk to us? Do you want us to come back? The first recovered alcoholic, Bill Dotson. Dr. Bob and Bill sat down with him and they were like, if you ask us to leave and you don't want this thing that we've been working on and experiencing that seems to provide good results for us, if you don't want it, like, we won't come back and force it on you. Like, they knew they couldn't force it on another program, on another person. They couldn't put the program on somebody that didn't want it. And for me, in my story, like, I wanted it. I wanted to live a life where I was happy 90% of the time, and I couldn't do that with alcohol, so I had to look for another way. And then I came into the program of AA, and I saw beauty. I saw a beautiful group of people, at least in my group. And I know not all groups the same, not all people are the same, but in my group, I saw a beautiful group of people who really just cared about my sobriety. Me, they were like, if you want to get sober and you want to live a different life than what you've been living, then we're here for you. And that's all they were really concerned with. They weren't concerned with the other areas of my life or what I was doing. They were just concerned with me getting sober. And I had never had a group of people around me that only cared about my recovery. So that's the beautiful part of AA for me and what it did for me. Now, to get deeper into it, I worked the steps with a sponsor. And all he could share with me was his experience. But he was there as a guide. And I needed that guide. So when I had a problem come up in my life, I was like, hey, what do you have you ever dealt with something like this before? What should I do? And he was there to guide me. He gave me good advice. He didn't even give me advice, actually. He always told me, I can't tell you what to do, but let me tell you what I've experienced in my own life, and mistakes that I have made in my own life. And that's what I share with my sponsees is like, and I can't tell you what to do in every situation, especially if I haven't dealt with it, but here's my understanding based on my own knowledge and my own experiences. Like, here's how things worked out for me in my life when I made a certain decision. And really another thing that AA did for me was it strengthened my decision-making power and my ability to analyze life circumstances and make a good decision based on doing the right thing, of course. Because at the end of the day, all I've got is my connection to my higher power, and I've got the ability to make a good decision, to analyze and to make a good decision about what I need to do in my life. So every day we're just hit with all these different decisions and all this different stuff. How well I'm able to deal with something is based on my ability to make a decision and to do the right thing. And that might mean choosing to put another person first. I see people all the time in the program that talk about how other people force them to make a bad decision. But, at the end of the day, All the choices of what you're going to do in your life are up to you. There's really not any way around that. Your life is the ability to make choices for yourself, to do the right thing, and to not let anybody else sway you against what you believe is right. The belief of what you think is right in your life. That's what it all comes down to. And I'm grateful for today. I'm grateful for this day because right now I'm living the life that I want to live. I don't blame anything or anybody for whatever I've got in my life today because I know it was my choice to have this life today. Now, there's lots of things that I can't control in life, and I can't control other people, and I can't control what happens in, a lot of things in the government, things in the world. There's so much stuff that's like beyond our control. But I don't focus on that. I focus on what I can control, which is my ability to pray to my higher power, to ask for help and guidance when I can't deal with a situation or I feel like I can't deal with a situation. That's important. And my ability to choose to make the right decision based on good, honest principles, and to be honest with myself about certain things in life. To know when to get out of a certain place if I don't want to be there anymore. Or get away from a certain person if I don't need to be there anymore. To be able to disconnect. Like, it was huge for me to get a lot of emotions out of my life because I was so over emotional, so reactive. It was just terrible. Disconnecting all these emotional reactive behaviors, things like anger, especially the negative ones. The negative feelings of anger and resentment. I had to learn how to let that go. And it took time. It took my own process, really. I don't know that anything helped me to let go of resentment, anger, negativity, blaming. Nothing helped me besides the fact of just to sit with the emotion and not react to it, but to just let it go and choose to focus on something like gratitude, appreciation. And it sounds so simple. It almost sounds like it won't work. But like every time I felt a negative thought or a feeling, and I still do this to this day, this is one of my practices. The second I feel a negative thought or a feeling, I choose to just let it go and I focus on what do I have good in my life, right? Like my health feels good. My health is good. Good. Let's focus on health. Let's focus on getting healthier. What can I do to get healthier in my life? I've got some money in the bank. I choose to focus on the fact that I've got enough money in the bank right now. And as I'm grateful for that, that money becomes more. All of a sudden, opportunities come into my life. All of a sudden, I meet somebody out on the street or a client of mine that says, hey, I would like to give you a project that I can pay you 10 times as much money for as you're making right now. And if I like the work and I like the project, I say yes. Those are the kinds of things that happen, just the little miracles in AA. Like I pray to God. I pray to God for a certain thing to happen. Like, dear Lord, I need you to strengthen me today. I need your guidance in my life. I need you to remove my fear. And then a couple hours later, I get hit with a decision where I see somebody that I want to talk to. And I'm a little bit nervous or maybe feeling a little bit shy. And instead of walking away and saying, well, I just don't feel good right now about doing it. I force myself to have the courage to go up and just to open my mouth and say, hi, I wanted to meet you. My name is Dave. And the conversation turns out phenomenal, just fucking awesome. The conversation becomes great. And then I walk away with a good feeling and saying to myself, I'm so glad that I took that opportunity. I almost walked away. I can't tell you how many times I almost walked away from all different kinds of opportunities, but instead I decided to stay and push through the discomfort and engage in whatever it was. And it's usually a conversation with someone else because I'm not always an outgoing person. And I make a decision that I'm just going to walk up, and you know what? If it turns out, I'm going to use a growth mindset. If I fall flat on my face in this conversation and just run out of things to say, and I have to walk away feeling a little bit embarrassed, so be it. Because the other side of that is not saying anything, and then you never know. It could have been the best conversation you ever had in your life. And then you have regret because you're like, wow, now I'll never know. Why did I walk away from that? Because that's what I'm always saying to myself. So I push through the courage. I push through the discomfort, and I use courage to just be like, whatever happens, screw it, dude. If it comes out embarrassing for me, that's fine. I'd rather be a little embarrassed than to say, oh, I didn't take any action. Because nobody knows that. Nobody knows these things but me. And now you, because I'm sharing them with you. But nobody knows these things. Like the regret that I have inside from not taking action on a certain situation, it stays in here. But it manifests in guilt. It builds up into fear. So I feel more fearful next time I get into those situations. And that pushes me down even more. Lack of courage, lack of self-confidence. So for me, I've just learned after doing that so many times that I'd rather act courageous in a certain situation. It happened to me the first AA meeting I ever went to. The discomfort of walking up to this place and opening the door, little Methodist church out in the middle of nowhere, that they were having a meeting. I did not know what to expect. I had never seen it before, had never seen any of the people before, had no idea what I was walking into. No idea. And I opened up the door and I walked in and I wanted to just walk out. That was everything. It took every bit of willpower to just walk in, sit down, and just sit there and say hi to the person next to me. Hi, my name is Dave. I have a huge problem with alcohol and I am lost. I didn't even say that much. All I said was hi. They know why you're there. Everybody could see that I had a problem. I mean, otherwise, why would you be there? Why would I have gone, right? But to push through that, I've learned that I'd rather push through and accept whatever consequence comes along because I know I'm doing the right thing. Than to go home and say, oh, I didn't force myself to do it, and now I regret it. Because regret is harder to deal with. Which R do you want in your life? Do you want resilience or do you want regret? Because you're only going to get every situation that you face in life where it's going to demand courage is going to require you to push through discomfort. And that's what we learn in the program of AA. That's what AA taught me, is to push through discomfort to get to something better that's on the other side of that discomfort. And I would never give that up. I would never give that up. The ability to do that. And maybe sometimes I'll fail and still will make the wrong decision. But you know what? Inside, I know that next time I have to try harder. I have to do even better. These are just beautiful, some of the beautiful truths that I've learned to live through the program of AA, and making the changes that I need to make, recovering, the power of recovery, what it means in my life. And I see other people struggling and suffering, and they have so many mental hurdles that they need to get over before they can even get to the embracing this part, the recovery, because they're hung up on, I don't know if the whole God thing is right for me. I don't know if the program of AA is right for me. I've heard horror stories of people in AA, and that they try to control you, and that AA is a cult, and they're going to manipulate you. But it's like, look at your life. Like, for me, I had to look at my life. I tell everybody, look at your life, and tell me if the misery that you're feeling is worth it to try and go ahead and do something anyway. I never felt controlled in my life by AA, because I always knew I had the choice to walk away. I had the choice to disappear if I wanted to. How the hell is AA going to control me? Like, I would, how many times in my life I've just disappeared, got drugs, got drunk, whatever. Nobody could have stopped me. So I never felt like AA was controlling me. I always go because it's my choice to go, to walk into a room. I don't even have to stay for the whole meeting if I don't want. I could just leave, walk out halfway through. Nobody would even say anything to me. I've done it a lot of times. I've come in late and I've left early. Now, if you really want to get recovered, I'm not telling you this as something that you should do. I'm just telling you my experience of what I've done in the past. I prefer to stay for the entire meeting because I don't want to miss any of it. That's how important my recovery is to me. So if your recovery is very important to you, then go all in. Make a 100% decision. Raise your level of commitment to a level of commitment like you've never felt before. Raise your level of commitment to the level that I see where a parent has to protect their child. Let's say that somebody tried to take your child away from you, like literally physically try to take them away from you when you were walking down the street, and you're a parent, right? You're a mom or a dad and you love your kid, and somebody tries to, like, what ends of the earth would you go to protect your child? That's the level of commitment you need to bring into the program of AA. Like, what level would you go to stop a stranger from taking your child away from you? I know parents that would die. They would die before somebody would take their child away from you. That's how you have to treat your sobriety. Like a child, that you would rather die than have something or someone, including yourself, your own wrong thinking, take that sobriety away from you. That's the level of commitment you need to bring into any program to get fully recovered. You need that level of commitment in your life. And without it, your chances are way less than average. Not saying you won't succeed, just saying that if you don't have a 100% full-on commitment to do this recovery, to execute this program of recovery, you're knocking down your chances just by your own thinking, just by something that's within you that's totally under your control. So if you want to get recovered, go all in 100% and become fully committed that you want this thing of recovery, that you want it for yourself, not for anybody else, not for your kids, not for your dog, not for your mom, not for your dad, none of it. Nobody else but you. That's who your recovery is for. And when you have that level of commitment, you will not fail. You may get knocked down, but you will not be knocked out. There is no one that will knock you down and knock you out. Because that's how powerful this program is. If you will commit and give yourself 100% full decision-making commitment to like getting recovered. No one will stop you. And not anything in life. What you'll learn is, and once you overcome alcoholism, once you master getting over alcoholism, which is really mastering yourself, you don't become master over alcohol. You just know that you don't ever take that first drink because you don't want the consequences of what's coming next. That's it, period. So when you learn to master that, you've learned to master yourself. And then health will not be a problem for you. You'll be able to overcome whatever you need to overcome. Wealth, money, finances, none of that will be able to stop you. You'll be in control of that as well. Because when you have a desire to become financially free or health-wise free, there will be no limit that you stop at to achieve that thing. You'll keep learning as much as you need to learn to master your finances. You'll just keep learning and growing. Like you'll just keep trying again. Try again to master that thing. Never let up. Never give in. Never give up. You have to bring that level. You have to say to yourself, I don't care if I fail 1,000 times or even 10,000 times, that I'm going to get myself back up, get my ass up, dust myself off, and try again. But this time, even harder. That's what it takes to succeed in a program of recovery. That's what it takes to succeed in life. There is no other way but 100% full commitment, full desire to achieve a thing. And if you don't have it, then you need to get yourself to a place in life where you want it. And if you just don't want it, then maybe it's not the right time. But keep analyzing yourself and looking at, do I really want it or not? Do I really want, just like if somebody says, let's say somebody wants to become a millionaire. It's a hard task. It's a hard goal, but it's not unachievable. Lots of other people have done it. So you have to look and see what they did and then find out what makes sense to you and then achieve that, and implement everything you can. Maybe you need to study 15, 20 different millionaires to find out all the different paths that I'm telling you, there's thousands of paths that people have taken to become millionaires. There's thousands of paths that people have taken to overcome recovery. You need to find the one that's right for you. For me, it was the 12 steps, the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, the fellowship of the people, making friends in the program, getting a sponsor, listening to good suggestions, taking it into my own mind and saying, does this make sense to me? Does this really make sense in my own mind to where I can actually do this? And then doing it and then living it fully, 100%, and never stopping, never giving up, never giving in, never letting any bullshit stop me, never letting any of my excuses, my over emotional tendencies that kill my thoughts, feelings, and mental pictures, all that stuff, all my over emotional tendencies are what drive me out of the program, make me believe something else besides what is true and right and good. So I don't let that stop me anymore. You have your own things that you need to overcome that are going to help you overcome yourself and master yourself. So I hope this video went out to somebody that needed it. I hope this video is heard and received by someone who's really looking for recovery, who knows that they want to go all in. And if you like this video, leave a comment. You can leave any kind of comment you want because I promote that. Subscribe to the channel. Share this video. Share the other videos with somebody that needs them. And make a decision to go all in on your life in whatever it is that you want to do. Whatever it is that you have a passion for, go all in 100% and refuse to give up on yourself, most of all. Because alcoholism or financial freedom or health, whatever it is that you want in life, is a journey of self. And it comes down to you never giving up on yourself. So with that, I wish you a good day, that you will become whole and embrace a power that's greater than yourself and live your best life ever.